All right, I want to welcome everybody back. Hopefully, everybody had a great Thanksgiving and got to spend some time with their families. So, if you're watching live or if you're watching later, hopefully, everybody had a great holiday weekend. I thought I would end off the holiday weekend with doing a little bit more building on the Pirates of Barracuda Bay set. And also, I kind of thought maybe we might build a little set at the end of this, just something a little extra. I thought it might be fun. So stick around and hopefully we'll get to that as well. So let's go for it. We left off on bag number 9 and we get a new pirate with these bags. So with bag number 9, let's see what we have. Now, from what I understand, this bag will be kind of building out the other half of the ship that we started on last time. So that should be fun to check out anyway. Now, there's not a whole lot of bags for the Pirates of Barracuda Bay set. It's not exactly like one of those that has like 20 or 25 bags or something like that. It's a little bit more brief. So they pack more in to fewer bags. So this really won't, I don't think it'll take too much longer to build through the whole thing, really. We have all kinds of different little interesting pieces here, everything from maps to vines, just great variety of stuff. Then I'm getting the pieces together for the new minifig, and I'll show you what we've got here. And we just need his feet. So this guy is Quartermaster Riggings. You can see he looks very much in the same vein as like a classic pirate with the outfit. He doesn't have an alternative facial expression. There's just the one. And I'll show you with his hat on here. There's Mr. Riggings right there, looking appropriately tough. Unfortunately, he does suffer from the little problem that we sometimes see with printing on darker colors, like printing on black or printing on blue in this case, because you can see that the flesh tone that's been printed on the body looks too dark compared to the arms and the face, because they're trying to print yellow directly onto blue plastic, and their quality of printing really isn't what it used to be. So it's still a problem sometimes with some sets. So hopefully that's something they're going to continue to address and maybe improve a little bit, because I feel like that Lego, that shouldn't be a problem. And unfortunately, it seems to be lately. You see it a lot with Batman minifigs, particularly anytime they have to print Batman's face on black plastic. He ends up, his flesh tone gets completely washed out. And come on, there's no excuse for that. They should definitely have the quality a little bit higher, I think. In my opinion, it should be a little higher. And he does come with a couple of accessories. Quartermaster Riggings here has a really cool map and his sword. So we're just going to put him over here and hanging out with Tatuga. And he's just going to be going down the steps there. And that means that we can go ahead and I'll get the little rowboat back here, get him out of the way, and we'll get the boat. So this is what we had so far when we left off, and you can see that, you know, a lot of the heavy lifting is done by the big boat pieces that we get with Lego sets like this. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the things that we're going to have is one of these big pieces, and that's going to kind of make a big portion of the deck. Chances are this might be a little easier if we go up and kind of look down at it, because so much of the build is going to be things that we are adding to the top of the ship, so I don't want to obscure that. All right, let's turn it the way they have it. Once again, another big piece that does a tremendous amount of the work. Those are also satisfying to put on because it kind of does so much. It says so much for you. So it feels like you're covering a huge amount of real estate without really having to do too much. Ah! You have to watch out for that because you can't push down on this. It tips the whole boat over. Making me think about don't rock the boat. All right, here's a funny little thing. Usually with this kind of ring piece, you're going to put it down like this, but here they make a special point to tell you that you're doing it upside down for this spot. So kind of interesting. I think I'm doing what they want me to. Yeah, that's the only way to make it fit into those grooves down there. So you're kind of doing a reverse build. Adding a couple of big blocks on the sides. Once again, another big piece that kind of does a whole lot for you. Fills in a lot of that space. I always like the chunkiness of these kinds of builds. I'm always happier when I'm putting big pieces down instead of just tiny little bit by bit, brick by brick, I guess I should say. Okay. This. And then we have a couple of slopes that will go at the end here on each side. And we're kind of just building up support, building up walls on the side. I love how ornate that the Black Sea's Barracuda is. It's just a beautiful ship. And the design of it just, I don't know, it's a funny thing to say, but I always remember looking at paintings of pirate ships that were at Long John Silver's when I was a kid, the restaurant. And those paintings were always just so cool to me. So I like a good classic pirate ship. I mean, you can't go wrong with a fun little classic pirate ship. Especially one that has that kind of, I don't know, feels like Peter Pan, or there's kind of a mythical quality to it. I don't as much care for realistic pirate ships. Realism is way overrated. I would much rather build something whimsical. I want to build something kind of fun. Something that's something's over the top. A movie, yeah, I like a little realism, but like a Lego set, realism, you know, it's a little overrated. A little overrated. A couple more block pieces. Once again, I need to support the bow with two hands, or else I'm gonna flip it over again, which I need to watch out for. All right, a couple of circular little discs here. It's funny, I was thinking back the other day to the beginning of this and kind of remembering back to the first part I did a long time ago. And I was thinking that this was a rare case where I didn't start the live stream until I was already, I think, a bag or two in, because Brandon and I had gotten together and started building it. So it's going to be funny to go back and look, and there's a lost section of the build, but honestly, it was sort of the more boring part of the build. There wasn't a whole lot to it. I mean, it's that first part is you're just putting together like the island base, which is very similar to what we did later when we built the other part of the island, the other little spot. So I don't think that there's any great loss in not showing that. Let's see. And so here we're just kind of building this out, and what it's going to be is, what, I don't even know the proper term for this. What's it called? The big wheel on a pirate ship. Not the thing they're steering with, but the one that you see like several guys and they're all pulling it like around. I have no idea what that's called, but apparently that is what this is. So cool. I like the kind of interesting nature of how they've chose to represent this too. It's like just a wheel with a bunch of little wrenches coming out of it. All right. This is also where we get to put one of these little guys. This always cracks me up to see them just put a little piece of masking tape over their cords in there. It's so funny. It has a DIY kind of feel to it when you see the guys from the Lego factory have put a little piece of masking tape on there and they called it a day. It's like the sections of a really cheap tabloid where it'll show the celebrities and it'll say, they're just like us. And that's how I feel when I see the Lego has just put a piece of masking tape on the cord and just said, you know what? There you go. Enjoy. Okay, we put another little cover on the top here, and it just kind of cleans up the look a little bit. There we go. So I have to talk about this. There is kind of I think, a deal that people aren't taking advantage of in the Lego world, which is a terrific discount. And people, I think, ought to be taking advantage of this, and I think people are missing out. But if you have a Meijer close to you, and I'm not sure if Meijer, like the store that's a lot like Walmart, it's like the superstore. I don't know if Meijer is like a huge chain all over the United States, or if it's just a big thing like in the Southeast, or is it just the East Coast, or what it is. But I have several Meijers sort of close by, not really super close. We're kind of far away from everything. And you can get some incredible Lego deals at Meijer. And it's because of their M-Perks program. And M-Perks is, like your free, it's your basic retail subscription thing where they're essentially tempting you into them tracking all of your purchase habits so that they can use it for free data for themselves. And you know what? I'm totally cool with any company tracking what I buy as long as they give me something for it. Like if you want to give me some kind of deal or something, that's fine. You can learn whatever you want to about what I shop for. I don't care. And I'm not pretentious enough to think that it matters. Because it doesn't. It doesn't matter at all. Anyway, but there's some great deals right now thanks to the M-Perks app at Meijer. You see, most retail establishments, like Target, anytime they're having a deal, there always will be some kind of like little fine print, like on their toy deals, and it'll say not applicable to Lego sets. Like the promotions almost never, ever, ever apply to Lego. And I have no idea if that's something that comes from the company or what. But it's like it just never happens for some reason. Well, this is not the case, nor has I think it ever been the case at Meijer. At Meijer, they don't care. Their promotions work for Lego. So they have these things going on right now at Meijer, and they're called Santa Bucks. And the deal is, the more you spend, the more Santa Bucks that you'll earn. In other words, they'll give you a discount of so much. So they have a discount which seems tailor-made to the Lego sets that they have. And the deal is that you'll get, if you buy something for $99.99 or up, you can get $20 off. Well, sure enough, Meijer, if you go to the right Meijer and some of the smaller ones don't carry the bigger Lego sets, but some of them do, and they carry the $99.99 ones, and that's the exact price, and you get $20 off, like right then and there. They also have another promotion going that actually you can totally combine with that one. And this promotion, if you put in first 15, which is, I think is only going to go on till tomorrow on the app, if it's the first time you've done a store pickup at Meijer, it will automatically take $15 off. So I took advantage of this, and I got $35 off of a $100 Lego set. And anybody who buys Lego or collects Lego knows what a big deal that kind of discount is. That discount is better than what you could earn in most cases for your VIP points at the Lego store. Like, that is an unheard of thing to get a $100 Lego set for 65 bucks. So my advice is to keep an eye on that Meijer and Perks app. And every single year, I get massive discounts on big Lego sets by following this. I really do. This is something I do, and it is just one method I use to buy Lego sets without breaking the bank, because none of us have unlimited money, and it just makes things so much easier when we can save a little bit and still have fun with our hobbies and feel like we're being a little more responsible, I guess. But I thought that was terrific. That kind of deal really excites me. So here's one of the big prefabricated pieces that you get, and it doesn't come in the numbered bag. It's just something in the big general piece bag. And this is, one of the supports for the mast or whatever. So we're going to take this and one of the red Technic pieces. And this is actually going to join into the bottom of the mast here. And just, it doesn't go very far in. So I guess this is just mainly to go into the ship. Then, what's cool is that Lego leverages a whole lot of Technic kinds of pieces to strengthen these more complex little assemblages to the boat. Without the kind of security that you get from those Technic pieces, that sort of thing wouldn't be possible. And it's great to see them intertwined and used and not just be mutually exclusive. You want to use every advantage that you can get. Oh, I also like this. So apparently you put a vine in here to show that the boat is kind of grown up right now. Oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, I am supposed to put a little pin in there to where it has something to grip onto. So let's get it in the right spot. Let's try that again. I got too excited about the vine. I was too excited about the overgrowth. There's a sentence I'm not likely to say again. All right. Moving on. We have another little Technic pin. I think this one goes from the other side. Yep. We also have a little assembly that we put at the top of the mast. And we have kind of one of those like almost antenna pieces. Almost looks like a black plunger. And that goes in that pin we put there earlier, which is kind of abnormal. All right. And so for this, put a little black disc on the top. And essentially what we're making here is like a little base for the mast. And it's going to have the ability to kind of roll a little bit. My hands are horribly dry right now, so yeah, it's some HD quality dry skin. I think it's time to use some moisturizer. I think it's where we start running the heat around this time of year. Doesn't bode well for me when it comes to dry skin. I'm going to say that that's what happened to the pirates of Barracuda Bay. Is dry skin, you know, got them sick, and before long they couldn't function well enough to even figure out how to get off the island. So they've been stuck there dealing with their horrendous dry skin. It's just been a mess. It's just been a mess. Okay, and I think this completes the little base to hook our mast into. Yeah. Okay, that plugs in securely. Oh, this is cool. So I didn't expect this. In my head, I keep thinking I'm building like a complete perfect condition ship. But the truth is that's not the case. We're building it in its like dilapidated state. So the purpose is to hook these on the side. And once those are plugged in, then this kind of comes down. And that ball kind of falls into this ball bearing right here. And it clips in. You hear that clip right there, really satisfying. And so they have this, the mast down on the ship as they're kind of just using it to survive. This is kind of like a house. The funny part, well, not actually funny, it's actually kind of horrifying. I guess the interesting part is that this isn't historically incorrect. This isn't something that's unusual or even necessarily all that novel. Lots of explorers throughout history found themselves in really inhospitable environments and would often have to retreat to living in their ships when they would get to a place. Not unlike our ancestors here in America who ended up doing the same thing as a matter of survival. We got there, and Chesapeake Bay, it turns out, not a very forgiving place in the winter months. So, time to go back to the boat when it doesn't work out. I mean, that makes perfect sense. So as we build this fantastical Lego set, there is an air of reality there. There's almost a little bit of an air of melancholy, a little bit of historical melancholy when you think about it like that. This would not have been fun, I don't think, to have been an explorer during that time. Even though this is a silly Lego set, it kind of echoes a little bit of that sentiment. There was definitely some seriousness, I think, to it. Of course, you know, my mission in life is to find the profundity in Lego sets. Not the profanity, all right? That's a different word. Profundity. Profundity. Oh, man, what a word. It's going to be my first great American novel, The Profundity of Lego. Finding meaning in brick-built sets. It's coming soon to Barnes & Noble near you. I had an interesting conversation with my wife the other day. She brought up, and I kind of wonder this too, how long can an establishment like Barnes & Noble survive into the future of retail? That is not a knock against Barnes & Noble because I like Barnes & Noble a lot. But the model for that kind of store is rapidly changing. It's rapidly going away. And this is on topic because Barnes & Noble is a pretty major retail distributor for Lego here in America. But really, how long can we expect a specialty store like Barnes & Noble to continue? in America with the way that retail is changing. It just doesn't seem sustainable to me. And that's a shame because it makes me a little sad. I like Barnes and Noble and have a lot of fun memories of going in there. But honestly, Barnes and Noble has changed tremendously just since I was a kid. I used to, it was a big like media destination. It had a huge DVD section, had a huge section for CDs, and we know the CDs are, of course, going the way of the dodo. There's more LPs, there's more vinyl records available than compact discs now, which is an hilarious statement, but it's true though. It's absolutely true. What was old is new again, my friends. And what was new is old again. Okay, more of those little yellow supports there. And get some real estate taken up by one of those big pieces. But yeah, I do wonder what's going to happen to Barnes & Noble. I don't know. Maybe Barnes & Noble's future is more as a provider of digital media. What do they have? The Nook? Is that their e-reader device? Maybe it's the Nook. You know, I'll tell you, for me as a consumer, this may make me really crappy. I don't know. For me as a consumer, and I think that I'm speaking for a whole lot of people when I say this, and there's nothing to be ashamed of here. This is just, I don't know, I think this is normal consumer behavior. I go to Barnes & Noble or a place like it, and often I'm looking at cool stuff and I'm seeing things that catch my eye, and I immediately pull out my phone to see how much that product, that accompanying product, is online. I am looking on Amazon to just see, hey, I wonder how much this is on Amazon. You know, it's it seems kind of crappy, but at the same time, I mean, that is regular market behavior in 2021. I would have to need something right away, like books for college and things. I remember those days where I would pay more for something for having it at a certain time because I needed it right then. But there's really, there's no incentive to buy it right away if I can get it at a much better deal on Amazon. And every now and then, it'll be the same price. And then I do prefer to buy it in store. I do prefer to buy it that way. Nothing can replace going to a retail establishment and just buying it there. I mean, instant gratification is its own reward. It's its own thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm part of the problem, but if the problem is trying to get the best deal, I don't know. I think that's just human nature. And I guess indict us all, I guess, for that particular sin. I think we just want to save some money. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Building out the front very nicely there. Yeah, I'm going to actually build. I think I'm going to build anyway. We'll see how this goes and if anybody's still watching by the end. But I think I'm going to build a little set at the end. A tiny little set, just because, hey, I want to do it, break all the rules. We'll just do a completely different set at the end. Just a little one. Just a little one. We'll have a little bit of extra fun for anybody who sticks around at the end. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, I keep trying to destroy the boat. And this thing likes to wobble because of the bowl shape at the bottom. It's a wobbly little structure. So here's a question. Is it out of the realm for Lego to consider like religious kind of builds? It probably is out of the realm because I think they sort of avoid anything having to do with that. Like, here's what I want to know. Could Lego potentially do like a Noah's Ark structure? Like, would that be too on the nose for them? Would they kind of, because when you think of Lego, or at least when I think of Lego, I think of famous structures, famous vehicles, famous buildings. But not only is Noah's Ark a Christian philosophical kind of idea, it's also present, or a story similar to it is present in many other religions. So at that point, is Noah's Ark more of just like a shared kind of part of human history? Is it a shared part of the conversation to where it would be okay to do a set like that? And maybe even more interestingly, would anybody actually be interested in a set like that if Lego attempted to follow some of the structural things about the Ark and the way it's described? I don't know. I've never once considered it, and it was one of those random thoughts. You know, there's all those memes about shower thoughts. I'm starting to think that Lego thoughts are a thing, because there's something I think that happens with our brains when we're building or watching someone build even. I think there's something that happens where it causes us, because we're doing something creative, and I think we sort of end up thinking of some things or discussing some things or ruminating on some ideas that maybe we wouldn't have before. So it kind of takes you to all sorts of weird places. Okay, we're building some, looks like some curvature back there to the ship. Oh, we're actually continuing with that. I thought it was time to move on to the other side. Nope, not quite. Okay, I'll come back for you. All right. We're getting a little slope here to the front. There we go. Makes a nice little transition from the front to the side there. Now I can turn to the other side, and it's probably just a matter of doing the exact same thing. Get all my pieces over here because we have so few left now, just a little pile. All right. When you try to attach two Lego pieces with that kind of force, you know, things are just gonna fly in different directions. It wasn't ready for the ferocity that I had. It just wasn't ready. Lego could not contain my wrath. All right, let's try that again. Okay. Oh, thought I'd done something wrong for a second there. No, it's was looking for a sloped piece. I temporarily lost my mind. Temporary insanity. And once again, making that nice little transition from the front to the side. Nice little slope there. See, I love that you get a very nice, even transition right there. And it goes a long way in making it look finished, making it look done up. You can see that most of the pieces we have left are yellow here, and we're going to be making some kind of, I think, quite a bit of ornamentation here. Almost supposedly, I guess, like gold on the ship. I don't know a lot about how the plastic costs out or whatever, but I think that maybe it's more expensive or something to do a bunch of gold plastic. When I say gold, I mean the color, of course. I don't mean the material, but plus I think yellow honestly looks better for what they're going for. So I don't know, it's more bold. And definitely matches the classic pirate stuff. You know, gold plastic, for as pretty as it can be, any toy collector knows the dangers of gold plastic. Gold plastic syndrome is a real thing, in which, for some reason, when gold fleck, like that, when that pigmentation is mixed with plastic, there's a long history of that weakening the plastic. And you would have to talk to a machinist or a tool and die guy or something who could probably explain that a little bit better. But there has to be something about those flecks or that pigmentation mixing with the plastic that causes some structural integrity issues. There's got to be something there that causes it to weaken, because it's not just like an isolated thing. There's examples of toys throughout all of toy history that if there is gold plastic on that toy, it is just, the plastic has so much of a better chance of being just wrecked with a little bit of age on it. And these are really interesting pieces. These are like rubbery, very different than most of the material you'll feel in a Lego set. Yeah, gold plastic a lot of times isn't your friend. However, I do think a lot of companies are overcoming that. That might have been, I think that's something that's probably, for the most part, getting solved with modern releases. But, you know, the truth is, you just don't know with modern toys what's going to hold up and what's not. I've had things that I was sure were sturdy as all get out, and then I picked them up a few years later, and there's been something chemical that's happened with them, and they're ready to break. And there's other things that you think that it's definitely not going to last, or it's going to fall apart, or this seemed like a really bad idea that they made it that way, or they used some material that you're not sure about, and it's a tank. One of my favorite examples is DC Universe Classics, the Mattel DC Comics line. I remember thinking that even though I loved their Swamp Thing figure, I thought, man, they made this out of this rubber, because it was this weird rubberized material that I actually think might have been proprietary for Mattel. And I thought, man, this was a bad idea. Swamp Thing is going to be busted in just a few years. You know, he's going to disintegrate, because at the time Mattel was having trouble with some of their figures having some quality issues with the plastics. And you know what? No, Swamp Thing is completely fine. As a matter of fact, the plastic never even degraded. And it's been 10 years since that figure came out, I think. And I'm pretty sure that by the 10-year mark, something would have happened, and it did not. So good on them. So what's happening here is these are kind of like, I think it's like you see this kind of ornamentation on a boat. It's almost like the cords big ropes or something that's connecting. It's funny, it almost kind of looks like cheese or noodles right now. That's what we'll say it is. They're large strands of cheese whiz. And I love the way that looks. It looks so, there's just a great deal of ornamentation there. And yes, it wouldn't be a true pirate ship unless we had a mermaid on the front. What is this called? The bow? Isn't the back the stern, or do I have it backwards? The bow and the stern. And so we get this nondescript, completely yellow torso, blank face, and we get Thor's beautiful hair here. No, it's, just Lego long wavy hair. And this is our mer person. The truth is, is it a mermaid? We don't know. Could be a mer person. We don't discriminate. We're equal opportunity right here in Legoland. Indeed. We're not bigots. We're looking to make all people happy here. And there we go. Got a little bit of ornamentation there. I'm just trying to figure out how many times I can use the word ornamentation. Apparently a lot in the same video. And then we have something really cool here. It's kind of, like the tea brand Gold Leaf. Maybe. The directions show it turned around this way. But can I make that actually connect like that? Am I looking over something? Am I doing it wrong? Maybe it's this side. No, it's... I think they just have it wrong in the directions. I think you've got to turn it inside out like this to where you don't see the little lines. I can be wrong, though. All right, we have another vine, once again, to show that it's been parked for a while. This ship has seen better days. Once again, I did not put in the pen. What is it with me and the pens for this one? I am skipping this step left and right. I think I'm too impressed by the vines, and then I just skip right on through. There we go. Now let's see. So this vine is actually swinging to one side of this. It's not supposed to be right on top. Now we have a bunch of little yellow cone pieces. We've got 14 of them, actually. And they just kind of go as decoration right here at the top. Get those on there. I love these. These really go a long way in breaking up all the black that we put into this section. Black and yellow will always be one of the most satisfying color combinations you can do. Ask the designers of the Michael Keaton Batman '89 costume. They'll tell you all about it. Okay. And so we're going to be connecting these with a little bit of just some flat panel pieces. We're just kind of making some railings here. I will not stop until it looks just like the outside of an early 90s Long John Silver's. That is my guarantee. Oh. Goofed up. There we go. That'll help it. Perfect. I need to do the same thing over here. Add a couple more cones there. And one more curved piece, kind of an elbow here. And that should complete our railing. So we start to get a really nice look there. Just a few more things for this bag. We have an anchor here. Really cool. And let's see. Get this guy in here. We have a little bar we put through it. And I think this is supposed to be just like a pin that keeps it pinned in. Making sure I have the right kind here. Okay, and I think that goes down here on the side. Well, actually, this is where our cord was leading to. Okay, so now we have our anchor. We can actually take this and crank it, and this will crank in the cord, and we can get our anchor back up like this, and it works really well. Yeah, I like that. It almost looks like you could take this and put it in the side here to have a little spot to hang the anchor off of, but I'm not sure if that's the intention or not. But I think it's a great way to kind of keep it tidy. But maybe I'm wrong on that, and I'll be proven wrong in a future step. Now we're actually going to get some steps leading to the sides here. So this just sort of completes the look. I'm going to make a really funny comparison here. And if anybody gets this reference or you've seen this, then I'm truly impressed. But there is an episode of Family Matters. Yeah, that's right, the Steve Urkel show. And it's about this VR headset that Steve has. And this is done in like the later seasons. I think it's like season 8 or something. And by then the show was on CBS. And they were going for really crazy episodes. Like just nonsensical stuff. And they have it where Steve like does this thing about a pirate ship, and Carl gets trapped in the VR thing. And this looks a whole lot like the pirate ship set, which was probably from something else. I wonder what set that, or what movie or TV show that set came from. They probably had access to it for some reason. And that probably, I don't know though, this is funny because it does sort of remind me of the set from that episode. So I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, let's do bag number 10, shall we? There's not a whole lot to bag number 10. Actually just kind of looks like we're building up the mass to where the sail is going to be in it. Now, I had my fair share of trouble with the sail when we did it way back in one of the other bags. I really had difficulty getting the sail like rolled up to exactly the way that they had it, and I struggled. So hopefully I do a little bit better here. I would say that I learned some things from that experience. It's going to make this easier. But then again, that was a long time ago, so it's not likely I've learned much else, or that I can remember the stuff that I did learn. And we're actually going to be using a lot of the extra pieces that come in like the general piece bag. You also get these giant like grate things, so this should be interesting. And more masking tape. That's right. Lego, very professional company. Just put the masking tape on it. Okay. First things first, we're just going to be working on a giant mast piece. Here it is. And a little pile of pieces here. They're nice enough to be specific about which ones of these we're going to be using. They're sure to tell you don't use the one with the ridges at the bottom. And I think I have the right one. Yeah, I think I'm good. And we're going to put in 2 Technic pins on those little gray ones. That's right. I'm learning I did not skip the Technic pin step this time. I did before several times. Okay, another pin. Then it's just a matter of putting them in the right slots on here. One here at the top. And one on down. Okay. And this is also where we start putting some of the cords. Just use one of these. These seem a little long to be the ones that they're showing, but maybe it's, I don't know. Okay, shorter ones right here. Okay. Probably something for people like me who need that pointed out. They probably need to make that a little bit more explicitly stated in the manual, because crazy people like me are probably liable to use the wrong piece or the wrong cord. But maybe crazy isn't the right word. Maybe we're just a little over anxious. Maybe that's the proper term. Okay, and one more of these little studs. And then a little brown connector piece. All right, now we get to actually add a little pirate flag to the top. It's always a good day when you can add a pirate flag to the top of a Lego ship. Always a good day. Oops, and if I do it the right way, it'll be even better. Okay, all I gotta do is connect it. There we go. Fly the Jolly Roger there. And now we take one of these giant pieces. I think it's this thing, which is hardly, so almost too big to fit in our viewing area here. And this is just going to go into the bottom here, the base. But this is so big that I think we're going to string some other stuff through it. Yep, that's what it is. So first thing we're stringing through is this little guy right here. I remember having to do this in the, forever ago when we did the other mast on the other side. It's going to be really satisfying to bring these two halves of the ship together. But I almost think that part of it from the ideas designer in doing it this way was to make it more of a pleasing experience when you're assembling it. Because this way, it feels like two separate projects. And I think, if I remember right from the old live stream, I figured out you could only really guide 2 of these at a time. If you try to put 3, they won't really move. So just my little tip for you. You put a total of, I think, 11 on this, of these little, like, cylinder things. I do not know the proper Lego term for this. I'm sorry, okay? I'm not a big enough Lego fan to where I know all the proper terminology for each and every piece. And God bless the people that are, but I don't think I'll ever learn all the exact terms. Which, I can honestly say the same thing about all the variety of colors in Lego. There's a ton of different colors. I don't think I can learn every bit of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 2 more. 10 and 11. There we go. Double. Okay. Got that built up. Double check my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I'm good. And then we're gonna cap that off with another one of these guys at the bottom. Man, it would really bite to get these going at the wrong angle, so pay close attention to what side this is on. Do not mess it up so that you have to unstrand all of these individual cylinders and then fix it. Okay, and then we need 5 more of those little cylinders that go at the bottom of this. That's 1. That's 2. 3. 4. And 5, as in Barney 5. There we go. All right. And this will go at the front of the ship. Now, last time, I had to do all kinds of crazy stuff to where you could actually still see me working on this, because what's going to happen is it's going to go completely out of view. Oh, that has taken a lot of force. There we go. Okay. You can see it goes way up there, and you can see my posters. So it's hilarious because for a few minutes, the background is going to switch to being my posters. But I think it'll be all right. So we're going to go way up in the sky here. Get my light sorted out so you can see what I've been doing. And we're doing some little builds to put up there. Believe it or not, this is almost the entire bag that we've already been through. The whole purpose of bag 10 was just to get this mast set up. And that was it. It was not meant to be anything else decorative. It's really just a bunch of pieces to build it up. That's what it is. Nothing else to it, really. Okay, got that one. And a little cap on the top. And a little bit more. A little Technic pin. And that's just going to plug in right here, I think. And then on the other side, we build the counterpart to it. All we got to do right there. All right. And once again, we just add a pin. This time on the bottom of this one. This means we should be able to sandwich these two, and each of the pins plugs into the other, and we make a nice little feedback loop there. I'm all ready to go. And here's where we put, the truth is, I don't know what you'd call this on a pirate ship. It's, those things, they're like usually made out of rope and they sort of support the mast. I don't know, they're cool, whatever they are, and I always know them, when I see them in a movie or a TV show. It's one of those things like you just expect to see on a pirate ship. And this is actually going to plug in to like way, way deep down on the pirate ship. I have to move this to where you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. So for this, I've actually got to plug it into these two little things down here, these little grabber arms, and then plug these two at the top, and that's got one side of support. Then on the other side, you do the exact same thing. This would be a poor time to realize you have built something incorrectly. It would be quite horrible at this point, at this late juncture. We also build a little bit of, I think, maybe a crow's nest here. Land ho! Well, that's not right. Had it a little backwards. Had it backwards. Okay, this part, whoops, wasn't quite right. Good. We get this funny Lego parakeet here, which we already had one earlier, and he's sitting right over there. So this is yet another. Here at Barracuda Bay, apparently there are plenty of little colorful parakeet friends. Pirates may be horrible, awful people, but they love their parrots. That's right, I didn't say parents, I said parrots. Totally intentional. Maybe that's like subtext, though. Maybe it's subliminal for them. Poor relationships with their families. Okay. Polly's what we're going to call this guy. Polly's going to set right up there. All right, back down to reality. And here it looks like we're building some other stuff for the sails. And there's not many pieces left, but they're all little Technic pins that go into each other. And this time we need the other one This is the one earlier that they said not to use, the one with the Technic bottom. Oops. Okay. We repeat this step twice, where we take one of the longer Technic pins. Of course, be careful to use the right size. They have a 1x1 size guide in the book to make sure you don't screw it up. I do appreciate the little 1x1, a 1-to-1 ratio size guide that they give in the book to make sure you're not picking the wrong piece. And this will plug into the little holder we made earlier for it. So we'll just get that in there. And one on each side. Okay. I think this might be where the sail kind of hangs from, but I'm not really sure. Okay. So let me re-angle here. This will just go up here. I'll just plug right in. Okay. And looks like we're building another. This is probably for the other, where the other part of the sail would rest. Once again, we're using the Technic version of this with the Technic bottom. That one side, and this on the other. Okay. Using this size of Technic pin. I'm gonna need 2 of them. We are almost done. There we go. And then same for the other side. Okay, got that on there. All right. Same. Okay. Yep, sure enough, this goes up above where Polly's hanging out at right here. And we're just gonna pin that in. Right there. Oh yeah, almost forgot our little piece. Okay, there we go, another support for one of the sails. And once again, something kind of similar. This time we're going to use the non-Technic version. Okay. Then we repeat this step. Oops, trying to go the wrong way. That's what happens when you're trying to look at the screen and then look at real life and you can't decide. All right. So this was a fun little surprise. This is meant to go up top, and it's supposed to be more of the, I think, like dilapidated version of the sail. Okay. So there we go. So it just leans down there. And we have a vine. That's why we had that little Technic pin in there earlier to where the vine would have some place to go. And now we're going to do kind of a weird little operation here where we have a little line going from the top. Apparently, we connect one of those shorter ones to the same one right up here. So, and then we take one of the longer ones and connect it to that. I don't think this is how the pirates did it, but you know what? It's okay. Then that is going to be threaded through the front here, through this little area. I'm going to thread it right through. That is actually going to peg in right here. I was kind of wondering why that was kind of off to itself. Turns out that was why. And that holds it fairly tight. And we also end up taking one of the little ones and having it kind of leading to nothing at the present. See, that's the thing about this bag is there's not a whole lot of pieces to it, but there's all kinds of weird things you have to do. Oh, I see. Okay. And this is, once again, we're going to be dealing with the sail. So let me go to my sails real quick. I have them behind here. My selection of sails. Oh. The thing is, it's almost impossible to know which sail that it wants you to use. I think this is the one that they're wanting. I think. But truthfully, I don't even know. So I'm going to attempt to roll this up because these are kind of the rolled up sails that haven't been in use on the island. But I kind of struggle to do this the way that they want me to do it. And I don't know if I've gotten any better at it. These sails make me nervous too because they're kind of papery to where it feels like you could crease it accidentally without really meaning to. And I think you make like a little burrito like this. That's what I think is happening. And what's maybe even more frustrating is that I'm not 100% sure that I do anything besides just lay it on there. Like, I don't think I'm threading it through anything. I think, and this was, honestly, this was sort of a spot where they kind of failed some of the directions a little bit because it's just not as specific as I would want it to be. Maybe kind of a crazy thing to say, but I like very, very specific directions about this stuff because I always feel like I'm messing it up. I think that I'm supposed to just let it rest there and kind of just let it. Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'm making it too complicated. All right. Come on, man. You're overthinking it. Okay. So now I've got that on there. Zoom back in a little. Have this. I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure what this part is. We'll find out. Oops, launching pieces. All right. I'm just going to say it's a black pyramid. We're just going to leave it just like that. Kind of looks like a sand crawler. Like the jaw was right around in. Oh, okay. I see now. This is supposed to be part of the bottom support structure of the ship. So I think this is just going to plug in right there. I believe. Someday, somebody may be watching this in the future, and this set will be retired in the not very distant future because the rumors are already all over the place. And I assure you that they're going to feel an incredible amount of sadness that they did not get this while they could. Because I'm telling you right now, this is not the set that you want to miss out on. You absolutely don't want to miss out on this. It's a wild, wild set. And I'm not convinced that they'll ever make something quite like it ever again. Okay, so now we actually get to attach it to this display stand area. And you can see, let's see, where are those? Yeah. One of the ball bearing attachments on the ship is, I think, going to connect into this, and the other one is going to connect into that little gray area right there. So I just need to line up the little ball bearings, get those parked, and get my palm tree out of the way. There's one, and there's two. And let's zoom out so we can actually see what we've done here. And that is, and that's our ship now kind of docked into that. And you can see it's just like it's shipwrecked, and it's kind of turned this way. It's kind of all over the place. So lots of cool stuff going on right here. All right, well, loving how this looks. And it's because it's just like a little town is starting to form around the two halves of the boat here. And it's going to be great once we start going just a little bit further on this. Didn't realize that I actually thought it would take a little bit less time than it did. So we'll have to do our little small set maybe tomorrow. Hoping to get right back in the saddle tomorrow when we go to bag 11. And so that's going to be fun. I think, let me look so that I kind of know where it ends at. Yeah, There's only 15 bags to this set, so it's going to be kind of a, we're really in the home stretch on the thing. And just to kind of show you where we're at here, you can see, you know, this is a large set, but it's hard to kind of take it all in at once when you're trying to build little pieces of it. You can see it's actually pretty substantial. Even vertically, it's substantial. So I'm excited to see what else happens with it. So thanks for sticking with me. If you watched it live, that's awesome. If you watched it later, that's great too. Anyway, though, take care, God bless, and I'll see you on Fanboy.